MBA, 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 MBA. Welcome to Panwo TV. Now, I've just been watching a film called I Want the MBA Gold Now by BeatsArt77 MBA Bronze. Now, BeatsArt MBA Bronze is an old friend of mine from the Panwo forum, and he and I regularly lock horns and tussle over various philosophical, scientific and other forms of controversy. He's a very, very welcome member of my forum, very valuable member of my forum. He brings some opposing views which are necessary of any decent conspiracy forum, so thanks for that, Beatsy. He's recently been talking about the MBA. Now, he has been awarded the MBA Bronze. Now, if you look in the description box, you'll see I've put some articles which give you a bit of background into what the MBA is, if you don't already know. Now, he wanted to know exactly what it is that takes an MBA laureate. What does it take? What marks the MBA out from the rest of the herd? What makes them special? What makes them better than the rest of us? Right, well, I'll try and go through that a bit if I can, although the final decision has to rest with the MBA committee. I'm only an advisor to them. I don't run the MBA committee. So I'll do what I can to to pass on the views of BeatsArt and various other people who have inquired about the MBA. Mr. Straight A is another who's commented on BeatsArt's film. Right, now the first thing about to get an MBA, right, you have to answer two questions correctly, in just the right way. Okay, the first question is what do you think happens to us when we die? Okay, the second question is, why do people believe that there's life after death? Those are the first two questions you have to ask. Now, the first question, the way to, if you can honestly say, when you die, what happens to us when we die is nothing at all. Our body ceases to function, and everything that is a part of our mind and consciousness dies with it. If you can answer that question correctly, you can go on to question two. Why do people believe there's an afterlife? And then you have to, the answer you have to give is, people believe in an afterlife because the idea of ceasing to exist, of this senescence, this ending of our existence, is very uncomfortable and extremely upsetting. And so the afterlife myth is a kind of safety net, a comfort blanket. That means that human beings don't have to face that. If you answer these two questions that way, contact me immediately, because you may very well qualify for the MBA Bronze. In fact, you almost certainly will. You have to, if you can meet those requirements, that's what you need to do. Now, BeatsArt MBA Bronze, as I say, he already has the MBA Bronze. He wants to upgrade to the MBA Silver. Now, to get to the MBA Silver, it's slightly different. Okay, the two things I just said, the two questions, the two criteria that make up the basic grade. To become a Silver laureate, you have to go beyond just saying it and thinking it. You have to make those two questions, or the answer to those two questions, an absolutely central tenet of your philosophy. They have to be a cornerstone of your paradigm. Okay, you have to. An MBA Silver will be expected to tell everybody they meet that they don't believe in an afterlife, and the reason people do is it's comfort blanket, etc. Every single person. If you don't do that at least once a day, then you can't possibly be considered for the MBA Silver. And I mean, you actually also, to be an MBA Silver, you have to exhibit active contempt for life after death believers. In the MBA dictionary, the term is jelly. You have to actually use that word. You have to call them jellies. Pathetic, inferior jellies who believe in an afterlife. You have to actually say that. You have to exhibit active contempt. Okay. All right, and there's no, and you know, don't think you can turn up at the don't think you can turn up at your adjudication and just pretend and put on an act. You know, just and say, oh, I hate jellies and stuff like that, when you don't really. Because the MBA committee has an intelligence service, has a team of spies that will follow you wherever you go, checking up on exactly what you are doing. They'll be listening into your phone calls, they'll be reading your emails, they'll be opening your post. So don't, you know, there's no way you can fake it. It has to be genuine. You know, it is one of these things that can only be done sincerely. Another thing you can do is to have your MBA philosophy published in the mainstream media. Good example is Professor Marcus du Sautoy, who holds the MBA Silver. And if you look in the description box, I think I've put the link to the actual film where I actually award him that. Right, no, the gold. So I'm reading from my notes here. As I said, if you attain the MBA Silver and you hold it for a long period of time, the awards committee, the Silver Awards Committee, is absolutely confident that you are genuine. Then where can you go from there? Gold. The MBA Gold. My God, how do you describe someone with MBA Gold? To this day, there are only 2 people so far who hold the MBA Gold. Professor Chris French and Professor Susan Blackmore. If you look in the description box, I think I described them there. They are both they are superhuman man gods. I mean, they are to be an MBA Gold, you have to be as far above the Silver Laureate as the Silver Laureate is above the lowest, most quivering, pathetic, tarot card reading, spiritualist church attending, Peter Fenwick supporting jelly. Only then can you possibly even be considered for the ultimate honour of being an MBA Gold. So, quite frankly, BeatsArt 77, you've got a bit of a nerve to even think that you can get the gold. I'm not saying that's impossible. You may one day qualify. But I says you've got a lot of work to do. I'll help you along the way, if I can. Now, right, well, there's only there's one other MBA award, which is kind of it's a side award in a sense, which is it's not above or beyond the gold MBA level, but it's kind of parallel to it. It's another stream of the MBA system, and that's what I call deathbed MBAs. To have a deathbed MBA, you have to actually express an MBAist belief while you're lying on your deathbed. The most famous example is the great Scottish philosopher David Hume. Now, he was lying on his bed, and he was lying on his deathbed in his house in 1776, and his friend James Boswell came to see him. And he said, "Oh, Mr. Hume," he says, "surely you want to convert." He was desperately trying to get Hume to convert to Christianity. You don't want to face annihilation now, do you? It must be awful, to do that. And Hume was going, "Hume, oh my God, I'm filled with emotion." David Hume turned to him and said, "I'm not bothered. It's a stupid fancy to think that I'll exist beyond my death." MBA! 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 Anyone who carries out a deathbed MBA is automatically given an MBA Silver. They are on the anniversary of their death. Every MBA laureate bows down and kisses the ground at the very moment that they died, on the anniversary of their death. So that's basically the basic criteria for the MBA. As I say, I'm not acting for the MBA Awards Committee. I am merely advising you as a contractor and a consultant to the MBA Awards Committee. I hope that clarifies things, Beatsy, about what you're meant to do to go higher. As I said, it's perfectly possible that you will get the silver, but the gold, well, I doubt it, but keep trying. Thank you for watching Hapangmo TV. Hospital Porters, pride and dignity, stop the New World Order.